Hey, good to see everybody out here, too. Thank you very much for joining us and being a part of this. Back in June, I had the opportunity to spend probably a lot longer than he actually wanted to time with this legend, with this icon, talking nothing but basketball. And I am incredibly honored to be back again. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Oscar Robertson. We talked at the time, Oscar, about what it meant to you to see the All-Star game for the first time since 1985 back in Indianapolis. And, something obviously you're so much of a part of over your career. How special is this weekend for you?
Well, it's special to me because I think this is the bedroom for basketball across the state.
Yeah.
In Indiana basketball, because when I was growing up, man, all you talked about was Indiana basketball. Because really Bobby Knight with Indiana got, man, great things up there. And all throughout Indiana, Johnny Wooden from Indiana, Larry Bird, great athletes, great coaches, and great teams. And when you talk about those kind of things, other teams are scared to play you. And this is something that I've always felt when I was looking at basketball, because I saw the guys play at Christmas Attucks High School before I got there. And I saw my brother Bailey hit a shot that got Christmas Attucks into the finals for the first time in history. And I saw all these things, it just perks you up, a little boy about 7, 8 years old, he starts getting his little rag basketballs, throwing them in imaginary baskets. That's how it all started.
So here's what's interesting to me is 55, you win a state title at Christmas Attucks. 56, I believe you guys were unbeaten on your way to that title. And now knowing that your image is going to be immortalized in a statue in front of Christmas Attucks. We just found this out yesterday. How do you feel about that?
Well, then I didn't know anything at all about it. I didn't feel anything. I just wanted to win, Yeah. I grew up with these guys on the west side of town and some from other parts of Indianapolis, Indiana. We just wanted to win basketball games. We had a good unit, had a good coach, and really it was a pleasure to go to school. It seemed like everyone was your friend. And I always said that my career is like a long bus ride, but it's not over yet. So I got a little ways to go before I get off the bus.
Let me tell you, clearly it's not, because you look better than about everybody I see out there right now. Let me tell you,
quite.
Including the guy sitting right next to you right here. We talked about this, and this is what I love in a era of specialization, right? Everything's specialized. 3-point shooter, off the dribble, specialized offenses, specialized way of staying in shape. This is what resonated with me going back to June in our first conversation is you just worked out to work out. You didn't have any specialized workout routines. You were just out there working out to stay in shape,
Well, I don't know if a lot of people know anything about working on a farm, but that's what I had to do. And I would go back and visit my grandfather in the summers, man. You picked up bale hay all day, worked in tobacco and corn.
We didn't have ellipticals back in 1955.
No, we didn't have those.
Yet.
So that's what I did. I didn't go out at night. I went to bed when it got dark and got out when the sunlight came up. When the rooster started to crow, I was coming out of bed to get ready to go work again all day long. But it was a good life because I understood it. I grew, got ready to go back to the city to play basketball.
When you thought basketball was going to be your life, when was that? What point of your life in the early stages do you think, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
Well, I didn't know what to think because really, as I said before early, no one at the school talked about basketball, like pro ball, anything like that at all. All they talked about was going to get an education. Then once I got into college, I saw some of the pros playing in and around Cincinnati. And, it wasn't really that serious for me, to be honest. I knew it was there, but I wanted to get through college first. That was my priority. Once I got through college, then I looked at the pros. I had an opportunity to go try out for the Cincinnati Royals. But it was a foregone conclusion because, hell, I was Player of the Year 3 years in a row. And really I was drafted #1, so I knew where I was going.
Did you have scouting reports back then? Did the other team know what they were getting into when you were coming to play them? And did you know? Because you think about it now, and everything is seen so easily. But then it was, and you had to work at it. Did they know what they were getting in you, and did you know what you were getting in the opposition then?
Well, I'm pretty sure in college they took a lot of film. They filmed every game about teams that you're going to play. But I didn't care that much about watching film because basketball is a game of action reaction. You don't know what you're going to. I don't know what you're going to do. You're not going to do the same thing every time. So therefore, I just want to learn the fundamentals, learn how to play. I learned to watch your reactions, and so that the other guys on our team, and we try to put it all together to win basketball games, and we did win a few of them.
Who'd you have the most admiration for over the course of your career when you're thinking back and how your basketball career was built?
Well, this may puzzle a lot of people, but I like Goose Tatum with the Globetrotters.
Nice.
Yeah, man,
Yep.
I knew Goose Tatum. He was the clown prince of basketball. It's amazing. He played all over the world in front of the most people for any one basketball player ever, more than Michael Jordan or LeBron or even Oscar Robertson. Goose Tatum was the guy. Clown prince of basketball, a great statesman for the USA at that particular time. And that's who I loved. Got to meet him. He was a good friend of mine, and I was just happy to be around him.
At that moment, when I was growing up too, the Harlem Globetrotters were a big deal. How big were they to you when you were growing up, when you were getting into basketball, when you were playing professionally too, for that matter?
Well, they were big because I tell you, the first time I ever met Goose Tatum and Marcus Haynes and the guys, the Flanner House from Indianapolis, Indiana, used to take you out to see the games for $1. They'd get you on a bus, take you out to see the game. So I went out to see the Globetrotters play, and they said, hey, come on in the locker room and meet the players. Well, I don't know if you know it, folks, their halftime was like 30-some minutes, 35 minutes. I go into the locker room, I'm 13 to 14 years old, and they're playing cards. I said, oh, no. I said, what the heck's going on? Why are they playing cards? I thought they were going to play a game. But that's what they did to pass the time away.
Did they ever want you a part of it? Did they ever ask you to be a part of it?
They laughed at me so hard it was unbelievable, But then I understood after I left, the guy said, man, what do you do? That's what they do. They got to waste 36 minutes, so they play cards.
Well, I mean, I think what people forget, especially back then, they were highly skilled. They were supposed to be fun-loving and having fun, but they were highly skilled basketball players.
Well, they had to be. Some of the players were very highly skilled, like Marcus. I don't know if you couldn't take the ball with him on the dribble. Ricky Brown and, let's see, Emma Robinson, Clarence Wilson.
Meadowlark Lemon in the later years,
Well,
too.
Meadowlark came on later.
Yeah.
But they had a very good basketball team.
Yep.
Pop Gates, so all those guys like that. I'm trying to call some of these guys that I met years ago, but they were great basketball players who never had an opportunity to get anywhere near pro basketball. But they were pros in themselves. They were national, international type leaders for basketball in this world.
Was there anybody that you wanted to beat more than anybody else on the basketball floor? I mean, was there one true rival that you had focused in each and every night? Got to beat this person.
No, I never thought about that, to be honest. I mean, I just wanted to play. I just tried to play against everybody that came on the court. I mean, I never took it as a personal challenge against any one player. I just took it as a team challenge, and that's what we try to do. We try to play together and play as a team, which is what we did. But but a lot of people say, oh, you're going to play against so and so. I never forget once I was playing basketball, and one of the older guys we talked about, I said, man, that guy is really a great player that I'm going to play against. You know what he said? He said, they all put the shoes on the same way you do. He said, let them talk until they toss the ball up. Then you show them what you can do.
And you did.
So that's what I tried to do.
It's funny. 1992 was the Dream Team Olympic team. And you and I have talked about this.
Yes.
The 1960 Olympic team is the Dream Team. When you look at you and your teammates and the impact they had on basketball at every level, that's also a dream team.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys in 1960 who were Hall of Famers and played very good. We beat a lot of teams, about maybe 45 points per game. We had a good team, but here again, we didn't have all the publicity that the guys did. We didn't have the guys with Nike and with this type shoe company and doing all these types of things all over the world and whatnot, and riding on private planes. We wrote a DC-3 all from New York, stopped in Greenland and on into Paris,
Yeah.
Paris, and then we went into Lugano, Switzerland, and then into Rome, all across the Alps on a train which took 13 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
It was a lot of fun, man. I was a young man. Hell, I didn't know anything.
Well, you look back at that team, and I think sometimes it's lost in just how great it was,
Yes.
both collectively and individually.
Yes, we had at forward we had myself and Terry Dischinger, Bellamy, Lucas playing at pivot, Adrian Smith and Jerry West.
Yep.
Man, we had a real good team.
I mean, it's much like you, very iconic basketball names right there. 12-time All-Star, 3-time All-Star MVP. Give me your greatest recollection of an All-Star performance for you.
Well, I think my greatest recollection is something that when I didn't win the MVP award, it was in 1963. We were playing against the All-Stars. I was on the east side at that particular time. And so I'm with Russell, Cousy, maybe Tommy Heinsohn and Jack Twyman. We playing against Wilt Chamberlain, Walt Bellamy, Bob Pettit, Elgin Bailey, and Jerry West.
Yep.
That's who they started, all these guys, you know. So I'm sitting in the locker room. I said, what do you think, Bill? I'm talking to Bill Russell. He said, listen, Oscar, you take care of the outside. He said, I got the inside covered.
Incredible. 12-time All-Star, 3-time All-Star MVP. And, you know, I know that was very fashionable to talk about Russell Westbrook 5-10 years ago. Was, you know, a lot of nights getting the triple-double. This man invented the triple-double. He was getting the triple-double before we even recognized the triple-double, which is so important nowadays.
Yes, I mean, when I got the triple-doubles going, no one knew anything about it. No, not at all. And it didn't matter because, you know, I was talking to the Butler University basketball players the other day, and they talk about it. What do you feel about triple-doubles? So they don't mean anything if you lose the game. You got to win the game. Then it means a whole lot more.
Yeah. Well, who do you like watching today?
I watch a lot of teams play. You know, just some I don't watch, and it all depends on the mood I'm in. To be honest, I like to watch the Celtics play, Golden State, Lakers, Miami. You know, it all depends on who they're playing against.
Do you like the style of basketball, which is a lot different than it was when anybody was a player? Now we're in a completely different era. High ball screens, three-point shooting. Do you like this era of the NBA and the way that it's played?
You know, I've always said this. It's like going to a circus. If you like it, you pay for it. If people like it, they're paid to come to the games, and they must like it because they're selling out the stadiums. The guys are making great shots. They're dunking basketballs. Sometimes they get in a little tussle every now and then, which people really like. But really, though, I think it's a great game for what's going on today. So you got to make changes in things. You can't never remain the same because if you remain the same, you become stagnant.
What you got going on this weekend besides obviously being here as well? Is it a busy weekend for you here in Indy?
No, I enjoy the people, you know. I mean, seeing the different people and how they react to all the ball players who've been in and out of Indiana with the Pacers and with high school basketball, because, you know, people don't realize how big high school basketball was when I was here. Because when we had the sectionals, folks, they closed all the schools.
Yep.
All the schools closed, and, you know, people from everywhere came to see the basketball. But that's changed a little bit. I don't know if they have the same anymore.
Well, it's not because it's gone to class basketball. And when you look at the sectionals around here, they're not as valued. Like, it was more important when I was growing up. If you won a sectional, you didn't care about a regional or a semi-state because the sectional was the biggest of importance.
And also, like the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star game.
Yeah.
Now, when I was here, the biggest ticket, the hardest ticket in the world to get, you know, we were playing against Kentucky. And I know you're tired of listening to us talk, so we'll finish with this. We were playing against Kentucky, and they had a guy named Kelly Coleman who averaged 50-some points a game. So before the game started, he went on TV and said he's going to get 56 or 60 points against me. And I always remember what that one guy told me. He said, they play when they toss the ball up. And so when I went out on the court, I went in over to him in the ear. I said, they haven't tossed the ball up yet, Hoss. So
that's incredible. 12-time NBA All-Star, or the NBA All-Star weekend here, and 3-time NBA All-Star MVP. Ladies and gentlemen, the iconic, the legendary Oscar Robertson.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with you.
And I apologize. I'd probably keep you up here for like an hour and a half like I did back in June. So thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you.
You got Oscar Robertson, everybody.